Hello and welcome back to JR Oil Paintings 101. My name is Jeff Robinson and doing a little wet on wet technique oil paintings, and this is where we left off yesterday. I said this was a finished piece, but it's not quite finished. There's some things about it after I signed off that kind of bugged me about this thing, so we'll run them down here in a minute. We'll fix them. Just want to tell you a little bit about the paints we're going to use today. We're going to use the usual colors, the Blues Brothers, the Phthalo and Prussian Blue, excuse me, the greens, which you got sap green and phthalo green. You got Van Dyke Brown, burnt sienna, black, alizarin crimson, red, all the yellows. We have cadmium yellow, yellow ochre, Indian yellow, and of course titanium white. Normally, we already have this done with the stretch canvas. It's just has white paint on it, liquid white. But like I say, we left off here yesterday, and there was a couple of little things that bugged me about this thing. So we're gonna fix them real quick, um, and I'll show you how we can fix some of this stuff. This is one of the reasons I like oil paintings, because you can fix things that bug you about your painting. You have plenty of time to fix things because it takes a long time for this oil paint to dry. So with that said, I'm going to point out a couple of little things here that I think really bug me about it. And the one that stands out first is this grass right here. See all that really bright green right there? It just does not look right when it just like a line down is all darker green. So we're going to darken that up just a little bit, or maybe lighten it up right there at the base there, so we can have a little more continuity here with the grass, because that just stands out way too much for me. The other thing is that I'm gonna try and fix here is the base color of the mountain here is really blue. Should be more of a brown or a black. We're gonna try and fill that in just a little bit with a little more, some more bright in there, and a little more of this and that. Other than that, I'm pretty much gonna keep everything else the same. We're just gonna tickle it a little bit, and then we'll put the second part of this painting on that end over there. Like I was saying before in the first one, if you missed the first one, this is a piece from my dad on Father's Day. He's using it as a scenic backdrop for some of his for display, and he wanted a specific size, the 16 by almost 60. So couldn't find a canvas that long. So we're going to have two canvases, and the second piece is going to be over yonder. That way, if it gets too long, he can just take that next canvas and hang it up someplace. It'll be a kind of a separate picture, but it'll attach itself to this one. So we're going to start with the old mountain here. I don't like I said, these little areas here, they're too blue. So we're going to take my little our little our little palette knife. And if you're just getting started with this, when you go to find you a palette knife, get you a stiff one, nice and stiff. Some of them are real flimsy and they bend too easy. I find I get a better result with a thicker bladed palette knife. I've got two here. I got the big one and I got the little one. It's about half the size. So in this one, since we're going in these little bitty holes here, we're going to use a small one. And I think to fix this, we're going to just go into some black. We're going to smash out some black, get a little bit of paint on the small end of the knife right over here. And then we're going to fix it, or try to at least. And we'll lighten it up a little bit here and there too. So if you got some dark here that you don't like, just kind of fill it in just a little bit. We'll lighten some of this up a little bit here and there. And there and here. See what we get. I'm just gonna play with this a little bit until I get what I really like here, and we may start over just a little bit here and there. But you can fix your paintings. Like I say, you can fix them. Shoot, you can even fix them after the paint is dry. You can paint over some of that. I'm on a rolly chair. I don't like to stand up and paint in case case you're wondering what all that noise was. And while I'm fixing this here, I would like to say thank you for everybody that has subscribed and ones that are just tuning in. I appreciate your tune-ins as well. But I would appreciate you to go ahead and subscribe. Shoot, don't take nothing but a mash on a button. But I do appreciate everybody that's kind of tuning in a little bit here and there. So I appreciate it. So, and for those of you that just maybe for the first time seeing this, I do also have a website, jroilpaintings.com, and you can buy these paintings. This particular one, like I said before, like I have said yesterday, it won't be for sale. It's for my dad. So, but you can check all the rest of them out. I got up there for sale, and shoot, give me a jingle if you like any of them, or if you don't see something you like, give me but want one, give me a jingle. I've got a bunch of them that I hadn't put on that website yet. We're just going to keep it going just a little bit here and there with some black, and then we'll put some more, a little bit different highlights or low lights in places. And we'll just I'll play with it just a little bit till I get what I like here. And I get what I want. That's all you got to do if you see something you don't like in your painting, you got plenty of time to fix it. I did this one last night. I finished it up, or got it to this point about 9:30 last night. And for those of you who may not have seen me before, which there'll be a lot of them that haven't seen me before, not very many people have, but the ones that have not, I do work a regular 8 to 5 job, Monday through Friday, and I do this on my spare time, so it's just kind of fun. We're just going to get rid of some of that blue. It was just a little bit too blue on the undercoating there. So now that we got it a little less blue in there, a little more black, we're going to whip up a little bit more of the shadow color and a little bit more of the highlight color, and we're going to go over just a little bit. So we're going to take some brown, burnt sienna, mix those two together, kind of loosely mixed. And that's all we're going to do with the shadow color. Put that over there. For the highlight, we're going to go a little bit of brown, a little bit of yellow ochre, and then a tiny bit of white. Tiny bit of white there. Now they loosely mix these colors because I like the variation of colors when you're going to do the highlights and lowlights on your mountains. It just, to me, it just gives you a whole nice variation, especially when you're doing one that doesn't have any snow on it. That's just kind of a rocky hill, mountain, whatever. It gives a little more realism to it, you know. So just take your knife and barely graze it, and it'll pull off a little bit here and there. And you'll find out. And if you waited too long for this to fix your painting, and it's a little too dry, just take you some liquid clear, coat whatever it is that you're trying to fix, and then it'll be slick again and be ready to go, and you can fix whatever you need to do, and just keep going wet on wet. This one's dry enough for it pretty much is doing what I want it to do, I think. Now we're gonna just get a little bit more of that here. Let's see here. A little bit more there. break that solid edge up. Just put a little bit more. Not too. You get too much of a straight line there, and it bothers me. So we're just going to break this one up just a little bit, put a little bit more of the highlight color here where that dark is. I think that was probably what's part of the problem that I didn't like there. Just a little bit here and there. And we'll go a little bit more here. And you can, like I say, you can keep changing this for several days. Shoot, even, well, you can change it as much as you want if you got liquid clear. You can put that liquid clear over it, and everywhere, and you'll have a little surprising side effect on the liquid clear. And every time you put it on, it will it'll get a little shiny after it's dry right there. Wherever you have the liquid clear and then some paint over it, wherever you have that paint over it, gives a nice little shine to it. It's a nice little effect actually. I've done it a few times on just clouds, and you get that light hitting you, hit those clouds, and it looks really cool. It's really cool. You just need to play with your stuff, play with your paints and your colors and your everythings, and experiment a little bit. You can have some really cool techniques and really cool effects when you start getting these techniques down just a little bit. You'll have to excuse my my sentences. Sometimes I get a little too focused on what I'm painting. I have to lighten it up just a little bit more. Just a little bit, rather. So we're going to add a little bit of white to that dark mixture. And you can't even see it, just like we didn't do anything there. So we got a little bit of white, brown, and burnt sienna. And then we're just going to... Now, sometimes I don't finish my sentences. I think some of you probably have already noticed that. It just... I get a little focused on the painting or what I'm doing, and I lose track of what I say sometimes, or what I should be saying, and then I'll lose my sentences there, and it just kind of hangs out there. There we go. We got a little bit of that color in there. We're just going to drag a little bit of this darker color through here with a little bit of light in there. Just wherever you think the shadow should live, is where you're going to put your low lights. About like that. Yeah, we're getting there. We're going to fix this, and we'll fix our grass area, and then we'll move on to the second part of this, what I think is going to be this painting of a two-part canvas here. I'm about like that. I think I can live with that. Now it's just a big old rocky mountain, not as blue. So to me, that looks a little better. Now for the grassy area, we're going to do something a little bit different here. We're going to first get rid of this. I clear my palette off a little bit. It's a little full sometimes. I'll keep that dark color. I might use that in the next painting. You never know. Now, oil paints will, if you fill up your palette a little too full, like I do sometimes, oil paints will last a day or two uncovered on your palette and be just fine. You might have a little skim coat on the top you just peel off, and then that paint underneath you can actually use. But if it's going to be longer than a day or two, I suggest getting some cling wrap or something to cover your complete all over your palette. Make sure there's no paint left out. Just put a little cling wrap over the top of it, seal it up, and it'll last a good almost a week so you can come back and finish whatever you're doing. We're going to have a little sap green, a little bit of phthalo blue, just darken it up a little bit, and I think a little bit of cad yellow in there, just to kind of, we're going to hit this. That's maybe a little too dark. Yeah, it's going to be a little too dark. Okay. And we'll splotch it over there. That's all right. That's what we're going to use for our base color. Now we're going to, on this one, I'm going to show you, we're going to do a little fan brush here because there's going to be this bush. I really like the bush, but yeah, we're going to thin it out a little bit because it's too bright green here. We're going to darken that up just a little bit so we can have a little fun with it. We're going to take a little fan brush. I like my number 3 fan brush for this because it's a little smaller. And dip in that color we just made. And if it's too dark, loosen it up with a little bit of liquid white. You'll play with your colors just a little bit, and you'll find the color you like or that you're looking for. Sometimes it takes a little minute to do that. So a little more sap green in there. I think we got it. I think we'll have it good enough here. Just a second here. Now we do want it a little lighter in the back there, but not that light. And then immediately dark. Now to kind of phase that in a little bit. What we're trying to do here. So what we're going to do here is we'll just tap a little bit of this color in here. And you'll see those little half moon shapes, but that's all right. We'll get rid of them in just a minute. Just tap over it a little bit. We'll blend this together here in just a little bit. Get rid of that hard line is what I'm looking for. That's what was bugging me about that. Trying to do something that my dad will really like here. So after all, he was one of the ones that encouraged me to do this a little bit. There were several people, but he was one of them. And Pop's always been there for us. So there we go, something about like that. There we go. See, that hard line's not there anymore. Now we're gonna put that aside and grab a 1-inch brush that's clean and dry. And we're gonna just kind of tap this in just a little bit here. Tap that in, and it'll blend it in with the rest of the grass just a little bit. And if you still don't like it, just grab you some more colors and play with it just a little bit. And a little bit more color right here. Tap that in just to get it a little bit. And put that color here and there. I like that. Something about that way. And then, now I think that one I can live with. Hopefully my pop can live with it too. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this. What we're going to do is I'm going to take this one over here, a 16 by 20, I'm just going to add it on to either side. And I'm going to take, yeah, we can do that. And if we do it right, it's going to look, you can put it on either side of this. Now, for right now, I'm going to take that big sucker off and move him out the way just a little bit. But I need it where I can still see it, so I know exactly what I'm doing, or at least think I know what I'm doing. So we're going to sand him up. If he'll stand up. Oop, that's wet paint, doofus. I was starting to move my stuff around on my table here with the painting. You don't want to do that. That sucker's still wet. All right, stand up straight. All right, there you go. Now then we'll get our new canvas here. Now this one, you'll be able to see all of it without me moving the palette. I mean, moving the easel around. There we go. We have to center it back again a little bit. No, I think we can do that. Let me drag it over here just a little bit. There we go. Now then, you're going to have to watch me put the liquid white on there because I ain't got that one prepped yet. So we got our liquid white. Set him over here. And I just use a foam brush. I use disposable suckers for this because then I don't have to clean the brush. I just toss it in the garbage here. Now then we just, don't worry if it picks up a little color from the easel. Oh, there we go. I may actually be able to see now. Look at that. I got to turn my light on. Just go back and forth here just a little bit, and you'll get rid of any other color that whatever picked up. And you're just going to go a light coating here. Oh boy. Now let's see. Got some little spots on my canvas up here. I had to clean some brushes before I started this. And I think I may have got a little bit of paint thinner on here. We have some effects we don't want. We'll see though. There's liquid clear. Well, this is liquid. This is liquid white, so we may not have a problem. We'll see. I know some painters say they don't make mistakes, but boy, I do. I make mistakes. And if you're just starting to paint, you do too. Everybody makes mistakes. But the more you paint, the fewer mistakes you make because you learn from them. You pretty soon realize that once you're when you start doing oil painting here, there's no mistake that you can't fix. You may have to scrape it off and start over. That's all right. I have done that many a time. I've even painted over when I couldn't afford a canvas. I have painted over old paintings that I didn't think were very good and too dry to scrape off, so I would just paint over them. You can do that if you don't have a lot of texture on your painting. If you have texture on the original painting, it's a little harder to paint over it. It kind of shines through a little bit, but you can do it. Like I said, I have done it before. And with this technique, I do recommend that you use a stretch canvas like this with a canvas board. It has cardboard in the middle of it, and that cardboard will absorb this all the oil out of your liquid white or liquid clear, whatever you put on here first, and it dries out too quick. And then it's a little, and you can still use it and you can still paint with it, and like that, but it's a little more difficult. Um, if you're just starting out learning how to do this, I would definitely recommend just grab you some um, a canvas, stretched canvas. That's what I was trying to say, didn't you? See, there's my problem. Sometimes my thoughts don't come to me as quick as they should. Okay, so we're gonna go with a blue sky because we're gonna match that sky over yonder. We need a clean, dry brush to start with. I just wipe I just use I wear an old pair of blue jeans that don't hardly fit, and they got little holes in them. But they're my painting jeans. I just wipe my brushes on there to make sure they're good and dry. We're gonna go into some phthalo blue. Just tap a little bit of blue in there in your brushes. That's what the other one had on it. So we want to match that sky just a little bit. Now then, we're just going to tap a little blue in the bristles. Now, if you'll remember, we had kind of dark in the corners here, so we're going to darken up the corners just a little bit, and then just back and forth strokes, just like that right there. And we're going to leave some lighter color here and there. So there's going to be some clouds. We got to put some clouds in this one. We had a few in the other one, so we're just going to go back and forth till we blending that sky up just a little bit. Just take kind of some of the brush strokes out. That's what we're doing here. Now you'll have to figure out how much sky you want in your paintings. If you want a little more sky, not much land, you just keep going down further. And if you're not sure, shoot, take it all the way down to the bottom of your canvas. It'll be light enough, and it'll be easy enough to cover up because you won't have much paint on there. I got to clean my fan brush off here just a little bit. When you are cleaning your brushes, be sure to get some odorless paint thinner. But man, I've tried different paint thinners before, and that smell will run you out of your house, along with everybody else in it. But turpentine doesn't work too well. I mean, it'll clean your brushes, but whew, it will smell, and it'll also leave a film on your brush that you have to wash out with soap and water. So I recommend just getting you some odorless paint thinner. Um, and whatever you put your paint thinner in to clean your brushes, uh, try and get something with a lid that seals, because paint thinner does evaporate eventually. And so if you leave it open, it evaporates. You lose a little bit. So just get something that has a lid on it, seal it, and it'll last you for a long time. So we just get some titanium white in our brush. We're gonna make some little clouds here. And I like my tapping method here, or the tapping method here. Just tap you a couple of cloud shapes. It doesn't matter. And you know where it goes. Just wherever this old cloud takes you. Keep your brush moving just a little bit though. Don't keep it in one spot too long. Then you'll just have a big old fluff ball in the sky. And if that's what you're looking for, fine. That's not what we're looking for today. So we'll get our I'll do our 1-inch brush because that's what we blended the sky with on the other one. So we're going to use that top corner of the brush to blend this a little bit. And we're just going to use very small circular strokes, just a circular motion. We're just kind of stirring this cloud up just a little bit. Just about something like that. And just keep your brush moving, circular strokes there. And all these light and darker areas will start showing up. And that's what makes your cloud look cloud-like instead of just a bunch of tap marks on the canvas here. And once you get that about like you want it, wipe off the excess paint it picks up, and then just very gently, just barely touching this when you do these strokes here, just fluff it up just a little bit. Just fluff it up. You're just kind of having a C-shaped motion about like that. But you're just barely touching the canvas. In fact, just try and touch the paint on top of the canvas. Think of it like that. Just barely touch it, just barely. And then bang for it just as light as you can. And you can blend this as light as you want it. If you see a spot that you don't particularly like, just keep going over it, add a little more pressure to it, and it'll pick up more of that color underneath. And you can start over. It'll eventually just pick up all that color underneath and it'll just go away. So just, we're going to put in another cloud on the other side over there. This one's not going to be a 2-hour video like the one last night was. So, or at least I don't think so. A little shorter canvas. That one that we did yesterday was a big one. Now, you can use any size canvas you want. It does the same techniques. We'll work on the smallest canvas I remember doing was 11 by 14. So you can do any size canvas you want. Like I say, whatever you feel comfortable with. In fact, starting out, you could start out with a small canvas and a small easel, a little tabletop easel, and go from there. So we get our little 1-inch brush and just the top corner, just like we did over there. And we'll start over here instead. Just little circular strokes. You can blend this to any kind of degree you want. Once you get all this circular done, we'll fluff it up and we'll smooth it out a little bit. And that's really what your cloud looks like. That's what makes your cloud. Now, you can put as few of these as you want or none if you want, or as many. And if you want a storm cloud, just add a little bit of black to it and you'll have a nice gray. That'd be all stormy cloud. Yeah. But today we're not after that. I just want a little white cloud with a little blue undertones in there. There we go, something like that. And if you play your cards or your colors right, you can overlap them there and you can see a little bit of depth in your sky because you'll have a little lighter cloud here, a little darker over here, so you can see them kind of playing against each other and stuff. So there we have our little cloud shapes over here. Now, on that painting we did yesterday, had a couple of big trees over here and here. We're going to match that over here once we get some of this other background put in, because I want this to kind of look like it's one big canvas. If you put this on either side of that big one, that's what I'm shooting for. And we're going to see if we can pull it off today. How about that? Okay, so we're going to get some dark colors here. A little bit of blue, sap green, a little more sap green, I think. A little bit of alizarin crimson, and we're going to shoot just a little brown in there, just to kind of dull it down just a bit. And we're going to mix up a little bit of pretty good little pile of this because, excuse me, we're going to be using this quite a bit over here. Maybe just a little bit of Prussian blue. Prussian blue is a very strong color. Don't take much of Prussian blue to change your whole color. Oh, Prussian blue. This is phthalo blue. Prussian blue is quite a bit darker. So I'm going to take part of that color we just made, put in a little bit of titanium white in it, just to lighten it up. I put a little more green in there. It's more blue. I was looking for. There we go. That's a little better. There we go. Now we're going to take our big fan brush, I think. Yes, yes, yes. Our little bigger fan brush here. This is number 6 fan brush. It's a little bit bigger. We're going to put in some distant pine trees, little couple of different rows of some foothills, I'd like to call them. Pine trees, like the evergreen, those big old evergreens. So we're going to start up way up here, and it's just an up and down stroke, just like that. You're using mainly the top part of that corner of the brush over here, and you can flip it over and use both sides. But don't make them all the same size. Vary the sizes. Get some that's up here a little ways. Yeah, you see there we got some nice green shades here. I'm going to go up a little hill here. And it'll lighten when it hits those clouds a little bit. But that's okay, because the further back they are, the lighter the color is going to be. It's going to get darker as it comes to you. It'll get darker as it goes this way. So that's what we're shooting for here. So something about like that. We're just going to go wherever you think they should be. Put them in. And all these bigger ones, you can just get a little bit of leaves sticking out over there if you want. I've never had much luck with that, so I just put a little few more here and there on it. But on this one, there's going to be these are pretty far back, so you really wouldn't see those anyway. You're not going to see too much detail on these because they're too far away, right? I learned this by watching old Mr. Bob Ross paint his way back in the day. I still watch him from time to time. Gives me some ideas and reminds me of stuff that I hadn't done, I hadn't been doing. And it keeps me alert, sharp, or sharp as I can get anyway. I always liked watching people paint, and I never thought I could do it actually until I tried it. And like I said, my first few paintings, whoo boy, they did not look good. You couldn't even tell what they were, I don't think. But with practice and a whole lot of practice, I got a little better. I'm just reloading my paintbrush. Now this is going to go all the way over here. We're going to stop it over here somewhere. So we'll just meet in the middle. How about that? Just vary the sizes of your strokes. Just pull straight down, but you need some smaller trees, bigger trees, taller trees, fatter trees. Just remember those trees, not all trees out there grow the same. They're not identical. They're all going to be different. So just vary your strokes. And go up a little bit, come down, and go up. Something like that, you just do it about like that. We're going to put that brush aside, and we're going to pick up that 1-inch brush again. And then we're going to tap. We're just going to tap the base of this. And you want that little, like a foggy sensation right there below these trees. And the reason we do this for 2 reasons, or at least I do for 2 reasons. One, you got all these little hangy downs here that ain't going to be seen, and this gets rid of them. Plus, this little fog, mist, whatever you want to call it, is going to be your separator for your next, whatever you're going to put next, which we're going to put another row of these beautiful trees here to kind of get a little depth and distance in our painting here. Something like that. And then if you want to, just very gently pull straight up. Just come on straight up out like that. It'll sharpen some of those trees out just a little bit. Make it a little bit tap strokes off too. Now then, we're going to change the value of that paint we just used, and we're going to darken it up a mite. Well, just adding just a little bit more of that dark color. Anytime you're mixing your paint, if you're mixing it, going to mix it really well, pick up the whole pile of paint, turn it over. It'll mix it a little more evenly. If you're just loosely mixing it, it doesn't really matter. But if you're going to thoroughly mix it like I am here, just kind of stir it up a little bit and then pick up that whole pile so you get the paint underneath it and flip it over. Something like that I think we'll do. Wipe the knife off here, get our big fan brush that we were using, and go into this new darker color. It's basically the same color we were using, just darker. A lot of paint on that brush, and then we're going to start again. Go just a little bit lower. Don't go way up here. You're going to cover everything up. So just come down here. And you see that? Yeah, you can see that a little bit. Oh, there you get you. All right. Yeah, about like that. So if it's not dark enough for you, it's starting to blend too much into that background color of the other ones. Just darken it up a little bit. Put a little brown, black, or a little blue in there, and it'll do what you want. Just go a little bit lower and get all that fog in between these two rows of trees, and it's going to look like you got a whole forest right behind whatever you're about to paint. And it's really cool. Makes for a really spiffy painting. Yeah, I'm kind of old school with some of these words and phrases. I'm not too up on much anything. Anyway, we're just going to keep doing this. Like I said before, just appreciate you tuning in, and appreciate a subscription from you every once in a while. And we'll just keep going with some trees and stuff here all the way across. It's just going to take a minute. So about like that will work. And then we're just going to go. And if you are painting along with me here, and your trees are starting to look a little too much like pickets than trees, just add a few more. Get them a little closer together, or add a little bit more paint to your brush, because you want that brush nice and sharp. Yeah, and then just keep pulling down. Don't make, like I say, don't make them all the same size, because that'll also make it look like a picket fence. And just keep on going. And if you're standing next to your paint, or standing way up here close to your painting the paint, kind of step back every once in a while to see what you got. Your perspective will change a little bit depending on where you're standing, or sitting in my case. I'm lazy. I like to sit when I paint. I have my palette on the little table beside me here. I just roll over, fill my brush up, and keep on trucking. I stand up most of the day at work, so I like to sit down and paint. There we go, something like that right there. I don't usually show me washing brushes. It's kind of boring to me, so I'm not gonna put you through that. But you got to find your own technique for a lot of this. Uh, I'm just giving you some basics here, and just play with them. Play with the different brushes. But these fan brushes that I use, I like them a little stiffer for this reason right here. Because if you got a soft brush and you start putting these, trying to beat on it to put these kind of trees and stuff in, not going to work as well. Uh, it just kind of fold on you. You don't get the same technique. You don't get the same effect when you have a softer brush. So get one that's a little stiffer. I do like the natural hair brushes, but I do prefer you need a good stiff brush and good stiff palette knives because I don't like them when they bend too much. It affects kind of my mountains and stuff got a lot better when I started using a better quality knife and brushes and stuff. So yeah, we got about like that. We're going to go into our 1-inch brush here again, and we're just going to tap. Now the 1 and 2-inch brushes, they're pretty solid anyway, so it doesn't really matter to me. I mean, it does to me. It doesn't matter on the bigger brushes, the 1-inch and 2-inch brushes. Just the fan brush and the palette knives, I noticed they do need to be stiffer. We're just going to tap the bottom of this, get that little fog going there, little green fog. You gotta be worried. You gotta worry about green fog if you see it out there in the wild somewhere. Never know what'll come out of it. But for what we're doing, this will work just great. You don't have to worry about green fog here. Nothing will jump out and get you, unless you want them to. So you're just gonna very lightly pull straight up on your trees. This gets rid of some of the tap marks and kind of sharpens your tree just a little bit. There we go. We'll put that over there that way. And then we got us a nice little group tree going here, don't we? All right, we're gonna put some bigger trees in and some grass and some bushes, that kind of stuff. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do next. That's why I'm kind of rambling on here. So I think what we're going to do first is, yeah, I think we'll put a big tree right in here first. So we'll get that same uh, fan brush with all the green color on it. We're going to go a little bit darker. I like to wipe off the excess paint off that fan brush on an old paper towel just to kind of keep it halfway clean. And we're going to go into, we're going to go into the dark, just the dark color that we mixed up. They don't have any titanium white in it. It's just got a little bit of blue, sap green, brown, and alizarin crimson. So it's a good dark color. And that's what we're going to start with for our brush here. And we're going to go way up here because we won't have a big tree. Oh, let's just go right there. Now you can tap that line down as far as you want it, but I just like to go about that way. Kind of gives you an idea of where to start. You don't have to guess where you're going to start your tree. You got a lot of paint on that fan brush. And start just below the top of that line. So that top of the line is going to be the top of your tree. So just start there, tap. Back and forth, just start tapping a little bit. The further down you go, just add a little bit of pressure to your brush, and it'll send out all those nice little drops in your leaves and stuff. And they just kind of hang down a little bit. We're just going to go somewhere around, let's say about right there. I think that'll be a good spot. We're going to give him a little buddy here. Everybody should have him a buddy, I think. I know, I stole that from Mr. Ross. He always says they have a little friend. Well, I say he has a buddy, not a friend, okay? You watch enough of something, you pick up some of his dialogue. I apologize for that if I have. But here we go. We're going to give him another tree friend right here. Just the same way. I'm just going to take the tip of that brush and just kind of go back and forth a little bit. And just keep tapping in the trees. And if you run out of color, just go reload your brush. I'm going to show you something here just a little bit, if it'll do it. It ain't going to do it. Never mind. Every once in a while, you'll get a fan brush. When you're loading it full of paint, the brush will kind of give it a little frowny face look. Just add more paint on the other side of it, and it'll straighten out your fan brush. And your fan brush needs to be a little straight when you're putting in all these little doers, your little tree limbs and stuff in there, like that. Now I think we're going to do the same thing on the other side over here, just to kind of balance it out. You gotta have a balanced painting, otherwise it tilts to one side when you hang it up. A lot of people think your nail's just in the wrong spot. It's not. You got too much on one side. We're gonna have a really big one. We're gonna go way up here for this little guy. He's gonna be a big painting or big tree. All right. Like I say, don't put too much on one side, not enough on the other. It'll hang crooked. We're just gonna do that right there. That's where we're gonna start this big tree. All the trees ain't gonna look the same because everything's different, especially in nature. And shoot, wouldn't it be boring if everything was the same thing? If everybody was the same. All your trees looked identical. Every rock and bush and everything looked the same. Boy, it'd get boring quick, wouldn't it? I just keep tapping you. Go back and forth here. Make them a little longer, one side, then a short. And then some long ones over here. And then towards the base of it, we're just going to kind of tap in just a bit here. I'm going to go just a little bit further down on this one. I want him even with that. Not dead even, anyway. And that's the other thing. You might want to think about putting in a dead tree every once in a while. Well, then, trees pass away too. And their skeletons stay up. We're just going to do the same way. You can see why I say make your sky a little bit bigger than you think you might want it, because you never know where your painting's going. At least I don't, because I don't really plan these out too well. I like to think or compose as I go here. I don't like to copy somebody else's work too much. It's a great learning tool to try and copy somebody. But once you get some techniques down on your own, then you want to create your own stuff. But if you just like to trace your image out first, go for it. Some people prefer it that way. You can still do it that way. Put your tracing on there first, cover it with a very thin coat of liquid white or even liquid clear, and then it'll shine through that your tracing well, and you can go from there. Like I say, I personally don't like that, but that's just me. Everybody's different, like I say. We're gonna put we got a little bit of that dark color left over from the mountains, so we're gonna put in just an indication of a tree trunk here and there. Just tap on a little bit here and there, because I mean you're not gonna see much of that tree when we put the highlights on there, or the trunk rather. You're not gonna see much of that because it's gonna be hidden by all those beautiful limbs. So just kind of wherever you think your tree trunk's gonna be or would like to be, just put him in. Maybe this one's going off the canvas just a little bit here. Not like that. Not like that. Now then, we're gonna have some highlight here. So we're gonna take our little brush that has white and the blue on there that we made the clouds with. I'm gonna leave that blue on there because we're gonna just dip it in some yellow, some cad yellow, a little bit of liquid white there to thin it out. Because you know what, thin paint sticks to a thick paint, and we got some pretty thick paint going on there. Add just a little bit of the blue to make a green. Yeah, blue and green, blue and yellow make green. Blue and green make yellow. There we go. You know what I was talking about. Sometimes I don't. Reach over there and get a little bit of sap green going with it. And we'll just get up a nice little mix of color here. Just mix the colors on the brush when you're doing your highlights and lowlights. Just mix it on the brush. That way you get a multitude of colors. And it's just, to me, I like it better if you do it that way. But you do it how you want. But I like the, excuse me, I like the multitude of colors that you got on the paintbrush when you do that. So we got a big mess going on our brush here, little fan brush. And you're going to decide which one of these goes forward. The one in the back will have just a little bit less highlights on it than the one in the foreground. I think we're going to make this big guy here in the foreground. We'll make him in the background just a little bit. So do him first. And just follow your pattern there that you got going on for highlight mainly this side, a few on the other side, but just let your paint brush run out of paint as you're going down. That way everything will get darker and darker, like it would on a real tree. Now then, change the flavor up on your highlights just a little bit, and that way this next one will stand out just a little bit over the one you just painted or highlighted. And change it up by putting in a little bit of Indian yellow, yellow ochre, cad yellow, and just a touch of blue. It'll turn it to a green. And it's also going to mix with this here because you got green, blue, and stuff in your tree. I'll just kind of give it a back and forth here. Until you run out of it. And there you go. Until you run out of tree. And he's all highlighted up. I'll highlight these others over here. And we're going to go with just a little bit of Prussian blue with this cad yellow. And a little bit of liquid white to thin it up just a little bit. Oh yeah, there we go. I like that. That's much better. Just mixing the color on the brush here. So we'll have, these are going to be just a little bit darker. Those are a little more lighter than I like. So which one's going to be in the background? You think the big one Nah, we're gonna put the big one in the background here. That little dude's gonna be on the foreground, so we're gonna put him. He's gonna be a little darker. He's gonna go off the canvas here, just something like that. And then we're gonna put some on the foreground tree. We're gonna have a little bit more. We're gonna lighten him up just a little bit. There we go, something like that, I think. And then we're gonna just same way, just move back and forth. Take a little bit across where your trunk is. Some of it will show up, some of it won't. It's okay, we know it's there. That's what kind of gives it more of an illusion of depth, distance, and a little bit of reality there. If you don't see your tree trunk, you know it's there. You put it in, you can still see it. And so we got us a nice little beginning of a little background add on to the other one. We're gonna put some. I think we're gonna put some bushes in there because I like bushes. Everybody knows that, right? Everybody likes a good bush every once in a while. So we're gonna mix up our color. I got a mess going on over here, so we're gonna mix it all up again, just to kind of change the flavor just a little bit. You gotta have your dark to show the light. Um, I think we all have gone through a little darkness in our life, but they tell me you have to have the dark to show the light. And I'm starting to see that. So we're gonna do this right here, just like that. Got a mess going on my hand. That's what it is. I make more of a mess on me than I do the canvas some days. Of course, some days my canvas looks like a mess. So we're going to take our round brush. Now this is the half size round brush. I've showed this before, but I'm going to keep doing it. Now this is the full size round brush. This is the half size round brush. It's about half size of this one. This one's just a little harder to hold on to and to manipulate. I do use it occasionally if you want a bigger bush, or if you're doing a bigger painting, maybe you want the bigger brush. I don't use it very often though. I prefer the half size. It's easier to hold on to, easier to maneuver around, easier to do all kinds of stuff with. So let's get after it. Should we put some grass in first? Yes, I think we should. We'll have to put some grass in there first though. If we don't, we'll be sorry. So we're going to get our 2-inch brush. Just fill it full of that dark color. And we got our 2-inch brush with that color on there. But if we don't put it back here first, when we put our bushes in and stuff, it's going to cover that up. We're not going to be able to put it in there. Probably should have done this before we put the trees in there, but we can cover part of the tree up with a little bit of grass behind it here. I'm going to put bushes in first or next anyway. This one we're going to go under that little mist right there. And have it up healed just a little bit. And I'll put some bushes here too. So that's why I don't make too many highlights on the bottom of these trees. I usually put bushes in there and cover it up anyway. So we're going to cover it up with a little bit of grass. It's a nice dark color down there. And not this one. I started to put in a little puddle of water over here, but I don't think we're going to do that today. We're just going to have this one a nice, easy painting. We might put a cabin right in the middle of all that right there. I don't know. I think we might actually put in a cabin. No. Just put in a lot of dark here. And it didn't have to be super dark. It's just darker than your yellows, mostly the green, stuff like that. And like I did last night, and you could just paint this on, but I'm just practicing my little strokes here, so everybody needs practice. And boy, do I need practice. You can lose your touch if you don't keep practicing it. And you can refine it too as you go. That's why I just keep tapping it in there. And then this area down here, we're just tapping it in there. We're just tapping. But you got to be careful not to push your brush. Because if you start practicing that and you're starting to push that brush, then your grassy area ain't gonna look grass. It's gonna look a little weird. That's why I tell you, if you're just starting out to paint and painting this kind of way, um, don't paint your base color in when you're doing the grassy areas. Tap it in there because you need to practice to tap and not slide it. Because if you start sliding it, and then you may slide it when you put in the highlight color in there, and you don't want that. It does not look right. It's an easy fix. You just tap over it. But I keep tapping in the same place when you go have fun with making a tree or different bushes or whatever. So I just keep tapping this green color in here, and it's mixing with that liquid white we put on earlier. And we got our base coat, whatever we're going to do next. All right. We're going to put a few highlights on this grassy area behind the trees. So don't put your bushes in just yet. Now then, let's take that same brush. It's got the color on it. So we're going to go into some cad yellow. And some liquid white. Just to kind of thin that up just a little bit. Add a little Prussian blue to it because I really like that color. Just me, that's just me. So, but add cad yellow with a little bit of Prussian blue and a little bit of liquid white. Liquid white there, it'll dull it'll brighten your color up just a little bit, and it'll thin out the paint. There we go, something about like that. We got a lot of different colors on our brush here. I named them just now, so you should know which one they are. Now then, we're going to have nice grassy areas right there. Now you can come back here in a little bit with some more yellows, greens, or more yellows, a little bit of liquid white back there, and really brighten that up. In fact, we'll do that right now. Just brighten it up just a tickle here and there. There we go. I'll put this right in front of him. Most of that's going to be covered up under him, but under them, I should say. There's two of them there. So, something about like that. And you can brighten it up with a little liquid white. Just tap a little liquid white on your brush. And if you want to say this is where a little sun's coming out and shining down on it, just tap it in there just a little bit. And if it's too bright for you, just tap a little bit more, and it'll dull it back down because it'll pick up that color underneath. There, something like that. And you can play with that all you want, but I don't want too much bright that back there, just a little bit, just to flavor of it a little bit. Just to kind of show you how we're doing stuff. Now just mix your colors. You want the variations of grass. Leave a little bit of that darkness showing here and there. Get a little bit of light color in there. Want me to mess of everything there. Get a little bit of yellow ochre mixed in that. With a little bit of the greens. It'll change it up just a little bit. Like I say, if it gets too bright on you, you don't like it, just tap it a bit. If it's wet on wet, it'll just bring in that color underneath it up to the surface if you keep tapping it. All right, all right. I don't know what's floating around in Texas right now, all the pollen and everything, but it is tearing my allergies all up. All right, here we go. We're gonna just keep doing this. We'll have our grassy area mixed in, then we can start doing pretty little bushes, maybe a couple more trees. Who knows? Uh, but if you get a chance, uh, give this a try. I think you'll really like doing this kind of work or this kind of painting, these kind of paintings, really. With a little bit of practice, you could shoot. A little bit of practice, you'll be out painting me real quick. I think anybody can actually do this that really wants to. All it takes is a little bit of instruction. That's what I'm hoping to do. That's what I'm hoping these videos are doing for people. I hope they're informative enough to where it makes you want to try it. Just get you a couple of big, just get you a couple of brushes. You don't have to do all this, all the different brushes I've got. Just get you a couple of palette knives or just one to start out with. See if you like it. Get you a little desktop easel. I have used that's what I started out with. A little desktop easel, a little canvas, a couple of brushes, a few colors of paint, and give it a try. I think you'll enjoy it, and with a little practice, I think you'll be turning out your own masterpieces before you could blink twice, I think. All right, now that we've got our basic background in here, we're going to start putting some, like I say, some more trees, a few bushes, stuff like that. You know what? I said we might do a cabin. I think a cabin would look good over here. Don't you think so? Well, good, because we're going to do one. I don't think so. Yeah, I do think so. No, I don't think so. Do you think we need a cabin? Nah, maybe I'll put a cabin. We're gonna make this one a little easier tonight. We'll do a cabin one soon, just not on this one. I don't think we're gonna put a cabin in there. So we're gonna put some bushes right up here. I don't like a couple of spots that I left. I know this color is about the same as what's already on the canvas there, but that's all right. It won't be for long. This is just to cover up any mistakes we have in trees, kind of to finish out this little scene here. And just keep your brush moving a little bit. All right. Keep some bushes tapping in there, and then we can get a little darker and a little black to it. That'll darken it up. All right, see here, we're gonna put some. Keep that brush turning and moving. Don't just tap in one direction because these brushes, they say they're a round brush, but they have kind of an oval shape to them when you get to looking at them. So keep them moving a little bit, change the directions, and bring that down just a in front of that. And we'll have a few nice little bushes right there. And then we're going to have another couple down here on the bottom side here. Actually, we're going to wait off on that for just a minute because I'm not sure about that yet. So we're going to take our other, I've got several brushes. I don't like to bore you with cleaning them, so that's why I have several brushes going. But if you're at home, you got plenty of time and plenty of nobody watching you at first. So just get you another brush, and we're going to take this. We're going to dip it into just a little bit of liquid white. Tap it into some yellow. That's what I was trying to think of. Now that maybe just a little bit of everything in there to start out with. And we're going to start with this one here, and this is going to be in front of that, so I should have done it first. But we're going to tap in just a little bit of color there, and maybe over here too. Just tap them in, and you'll find out pretty quick how to do some bushes. It takes some practice. I never could get. It took me a long time to get the colors right on bushes. Sometimes they still don't look quite right. A lot of it will depend on what time of year you think it is in your painting. Like I said yesterday, this is more like kind of a summer painting. Because we don't have any snow on a mountain or snow anywhere, so we're gonna have there's our sparkling red bush right there. Looky there. Yeah, I bet you thought I was gonna forget about that big red bush there, didn't you? Wrong. Don't forget my big red bush. I like it. Mix it with a little bit of the yellows here. Just add a little bit of liquid white a little here and there, and you'll thin that paint out just enough where it'll stick. Get a lot of paint on your brush, on the round brushes, because that's what makes these little leaf shapes. All you got to do is tap and turn the brush, not while tapping though, then you get a little weird shape. And you might like the weird shapes, who knows? But just keep it going. This is everybody sees nature a little bit different. We're gonna leave that dark, I think, right there on the other end of it. So we're gonna take our brush with the grass on it and just tap the base of this. It's going to pick up a little bit of that color, and we're going to just tap the edges of it, the bottom edge, kind of clean everything up just a little bit. And there we go. And then we're going to take our palette knife. I like to use a big one for this. And we're going to scratch in some sticks and twigs. Yes, you can paint them in, but I find that when you have this much paint on the canvas, you have to thin that paint out so much, it still don't like to stick. So, I just kind of like scratching them in because you're scratching that off. Anywhere the dark is, just to kind of show where the trunks and the branches and everything is. It's holding up all these really pretty colored leaves. And just scrape in as many as you want. Or paint them in if you want to. You can paint them in if you want. Because you can wait until this dries just a little bit and paint all kinds of interesting features in there. So now that we got where do we put it? There it is. Now we're going to put some color on those bushes over there. Because by golly, they like color too, you know. We're going to put a nice, I like it. You'll see it. It's coming. You know it's coming. There it is. There's that big red bush. There we go. He's got some different colors on him though, don't he? That's why I like to vary the colors on your brush. Just mix them on the brush because different things will happen. You'll have all kinds of interesting shapes and colors and everything else if you do this right. That's a little practice, you'll figure out. Oh, we got a shiny one there, don't we? Yeah, we do. Sometimes I like them shiny ones like that. They just sparkle in the sunlight there. Yeah, let's pick up a little bit. And then we will finish it off with just a little bit of green on that one to finish this batch of green off. About like that. And like we did before, I'll scratch in a few twigs, ticks. Let's do the grassy area first. You're gonna clean up that edge on the bottom, and this does two things: cleans up your bush's edge, and puts in a little shadow. If you pick up enough of that dark color, put a little bit of shadow under there. There we go, something about like that. Then we're gonna scratch in a few twigs, sticks, and trunks and stuff like that there. Just take your time. There's nothing that says you have to do this in 30 minutes, an hour. You can do this. You can do this and take all day if you want to. I personally don't like to rush it, but I have noticed that the more I talk about it, the faster I have been getting. Except for that one yesterday. That was a long painting. I said we weren't going to do a 2-hour painting, but it's sneaking up on there, isn't it? All right. We're going to go into some really dark colors, mainly black. And we're going to put in a few big bushes here. Just tap them in wherever you want them. Something. We're just tapping in mainly black. It's got a little bit of other color on there, but we're going to have a big bush right there. Almost a tree. He's a very young tree. There we go. That's all a bush is, isn't it? A big young tree. Not big, but a little young tree. How about that? I'll just tap the dark in. However you want your trees and bushes and stuff to really look like, just tap it in there. Turn your brush to make different shapes. And if you go up just like that, then you got that kind of shape. Each brush will take on its own little personality about what it looks like. Some of them have a little sharp point on the tip of it, like this one is on one side. You got a little like that. So you just turn your brush a little bit like that. You got different trees and bushes, but not all the brushes are the same. They may start out looking the same, but depending on how you use them and how you wash them and everything, they just come out just a little bit different every once in a while. So find the brush you like best and use that one. I'll dip our brush into a little bit of liquid white, a little bit of yellow tapped into the brush there. All the yellows, I think. I got a mess going on with my palette, let me tell you. I think we'll start over here. Just go just a little above the dark. Tap in a little bit. You may have to thin it out quite a bit because we got a lot of paint right there. I'll just tap it in there. I see, just kind of one at a time. And if you get into where your paint won't stick, just get it a little bit thinner. Add a little bit of paint thinner to your brush. Just a little bit. It doesn't have to be much. and it'll loosen that paint up where it'll stick. I think that's what I got to do with this one here, because it's not quite sticking like I want it to. So we're just going to loosen that paint up just a little bit by putting a little bit of thinner on the brush, and then we just tap it in there just about like that. Now we'll go into some red. That's right. We're going to have that, that, that red bush right there. There he is. There he is. I knew he was there. He just hadn't come out and played yet. Not on this little bottom bush anyway. All the rolling bushes there. There we are. He's coming out now. Get a little bit more thinner on the brush here. Oh, that may be too much thinner on the brush. I'll tap a little bit of that out. That a little bit too much. We're going nuts here. And we just kind of pick and choose where you want your. Oh, what happened? I got wiped off too much of the thinner there. It didn't want to stick, did it? That's all right. There we go. Oh, you little turkey. You make a liar out of me, ain't you? All right, you. We'll get it to stick here in a minute. There we go. We'll just change the flavor up. That color didn't want to be there, I guess. I tell you. And sometimes you just got to add a little bit more pressure to your brush. Get a little more paint on there. Sometimes it takes a little bit more paint than you think it does. And sometimes it just don't want to play with you. What's happening with this one? It doesn't want to play. There we go. Now we got it. There we are. Sometimes they don't like to play as much as you'd think they do. Sometimes they do. And there we go. We'll get some liquid white. Just some plain old liquid white, I think, for right this one. And we'll go over here and do this. A nice little shiny white one right there. And we have a couple others right there. Leave a little bit of that dark showing, and he'll play with you. And you can have all kinds of good stuff floating in there. Just vary the shapes and sizes here. And the colors. You always want to vary the colors just enough to where it'll play with you just right. I say just leave a little bit of that darkness right there. There you go. Now then, we'll scratch in a few twigs, sticks, and trunks. And I think we'll call this one good. Yeah, you be the judge if it's good or not, but we'll call it done. My dogs think I'm probably nuts because I hadn't spent much time with them this week. I've either been working or coming in here painting at night. I keep them out of my little studio area here because I got a little chihuahua that likes to eat everything he sees. And there's a lot of stuff in here he shouldn't eat. That little critter has cost me all kinds of money. He's one of my problem children from way back. But he's a cutie and he's in good health now, so that's all we can ask for, right? All right. With that, I believe we're going to make a little signature here somewhere if we can get one to stick. But we got a lot of mess over there. We got a lot of stuff happening there, so we'll just get out a little bit of paint. Now, you can sign yours any way you want to. I mean, it's your painting, but I always sign mine in blue now. There for a while, I was trying to search. It took me a long time to figure out how I wanted to sign my paintings. So I have decided instead of whatever color is available, I would sign it in all kinds of colors there for a while. I decided I landed on blue, phthalo blue, a little bit of white, a little bit of phthalo blue, thinner, and I use my initials only because, like I say, kind of a lazy painter. I don't want to paint my whole name on there. Now I just use the J and the R. About like that, and I have started started again to put the year on. There was a couple of years there I didn't put the year on it, and I don't know when that was because now I can't remember what year I painted them. I kind of like to remember that. I like to know what year I painted them in. And we'll put the 2 and the 6 here. I got a lot of paint there, so it's taken me to reload several times on this one. But as you can see, there it is. That's how I sign my name or sign my paintings. I'll sign the other one here in a little bit. But this is a real simple painting. I just wanted to show what you can do with a two-piece painting. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to back up just a little bit, set my easel back just a bit. I don't know if I can get it back far enough or not, but we're going to give it a shot. And then we're going to do this little area right here. This little guy, and he would go up here like this and make one big old painting. You there? Don't quite match up, but that's what you can do with this marvelous painting. You can do a twofer, make it a onefer. Anyway, that's my idea for my dad. He said he wanted something for a backdrop so he can put these two together, make a nice backdrop for his stuff. So with all of that, that's going to be it for today. So if you like what you see, shoot over there and take a look at my website and subscribe to this channel. I'm going to continue putting these out for as long as I'm able to. So I do appreciate you tuning in and hope you enjoyed it. Anyway, we'll talk to you shortly. Bye-bye.